Hi guys, I'm Miss Liz.
I'm Miss Allie.
I'm Miss Megan.
And today we're here at Sport Hill Farms.
We're gonna see what they're growing right now.
Let's go meet Farmer Patty.
Hi everyone, I'm Patty Pop. That's a funny name, but it is my name, and welcome to Sport Hill Farm in Easton. Hi everyone! Welcome to Patty Pop's farm, aka Sport Hill Farm. I am the crazy chicken lady. We have 200 ladies on our farm, and their job is to lay delicious eggs. Yes, right? That was very nice. They also, along with laying eggs, they act as our composters as well. So when any vegetables that we pick do not look good, the bugs eat them, something ate them, they get diseased or whatever, the chickens can eat it. So the chickens can eat things such as lettuces and Swiss chard and kales. They can also eat pumpkins. As long as we open them and smash them open, they can eat the pulp inside, right? And that's their treat. And then when people come to the farm, don't peck me, they give them bread. And bread is a treat, just like a lollipop or a cupcake would be for a child. So they get a well-rounded diet. And when you get a well-rounded diet, you get a healthier egg, a better tasting egg. When you crack them open, you can see the color of the yolk. It's almost as an orange, like a pumpkin, compared to as a pale yellow. When you allow your chickens to do some free ranging, they're happier chickens. They're allowed to forage. They actually, believe it or not, like worms. So they will scratch for bugs and scratch for worms and eat their veggies and eat grass. And if I were to let all 200 really free range, I'd have no landscaping, because they love flowers, they love trees, they pretty much love everything green. They're like a deer. So we do sell our eggs, and most people are familiar with eggs being white, but these Rhode Island Reds actually lay brown eggs, right? And say they're delicious. Yeah, see, she told you they're delicious. So we sell them here on the farm. We don't have enough for the demand, but it's first come, first serve, and I will go inside the market and get a carton to show you guys the beautiful eggs that the chickens lay, right? You gonna talk to the camera? You say hi to the kids? You say hi? Say hi. She's like, where am I? Where's my friends?
How many chickens do you have here?
We have 200 ladies on the farm.
Wow. And how often do they lay eggs?
So you get one egg every 18 to 22 hours per hen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in one day, about how many eggs do you lay?
You figure that everybody's cycle is different. So you figure about half of these lay an egg today and the other half like tomorrow. But basically they all lay one egg every day. It just depends. So I let them, they're out here eating, foraging in the coop. They go inside, there's nesting boxes. They will go inside the nesting boxes, they will sit and they will lay their eggs and come out. And before dusk happens, I will go outside and collect all the eggs.
Oh, cool. I have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how old are chickens? When do they start laying eggs?
So a chicken, we get these ladies in as pullets, which means they're teenagers. You can start them off as being chicks, but chicks are hard because they need to be kept warm, and they can't be exposed to many of the elements that when you usually get them in the early spring, it's still too cold for them. You need heat lamps and everything, and by the time they actually begin laying, if you got them as chicks in April, it probably wouldn't be till about now. And for us as a farming community and business, we need the eggs when we open, and that's usually in May. So by getting pullets, they're 15 weeks. It takes them another about 5 weeks, and then they start laying for us. So it brings us right into the time when the market's ready to open, when we start having produce, so we have eggs to sell. I mean, for the home, for somebody who's doing it from home, it doesn't matter. You know, then you'll have eggs throughout the whole winter and yada yada. They can survive our winters. We tend to only get these Rhode Island Reds because they're a hardy bird. meaning that they can weather the really hot summer days and weather the really cold winter nights. They huddle together. We do not heat the coop. We do not light the coop. I feel that the cycle of nature takes care of itself. We basically close down in December, so we don't need the egg production to be up and amped. So what we do is let them go with their cycle, and that's how chickens lay eggs, is by light. So they keep the heart of their, the highest point of them laying is in the middle of summer when we have the equal days and nights of sunlight. And then they're already gradually slowing down. And some of them that are a little older, there's some that don't look so pretty. It's called molting, is when they're missing feathers in areas. And that's usually with a bird that's over a year. And what happens is they get new pin feathers in and whatnot. But while they're going through this process, they stop laying. So they're not actively laying during molting. Yeah, it's a lot. But the Rhode Island Reds are the best. But you know, when you have your own flock of hens, you can get any kind. There's thousands of varieties of chickens that you can get that lay blue eggs and green eggs and white eggs and brown eggs. So it's whatever, you know, you want to do. But like I said, for us being in business, this is the best variety for us. Chickens like their treats. So this is chicken bread. So we take little pieces and they eat grasses and veggies. Yep, and throw it in and they go nuts. See?
Here you go, chicken.
Yep. Everybody needs treats, right?
Oh, there's a bee.
The honeybees are out. They're getting feisty.
Oh my goodness, look, they're fighting over it.
Hi, girl. Yes, they fight over everything. That's escarole. I love it. Well, the stems in here was all the cauliflower leaves.
Oh, wow.
So they pretty much eat everything. They eat kale, they eat chard, they eat beans, they eat escarole, weeds, right? I know. So this is broccoli. You can see some baby broccolis growing in the center. People don't realize that I actually will harvest the leaves and bunch them up, and people can eat the leaves. They taste just like broccoli. So you would take the stem off like you do with kale, chop it up, olive oil, roast it in the oven, or just saute them. Tastes like broccoli. So when we pick the broccoli, we pick the leaves too. So I try to encourage people to eat everything. These are actually mustard greens because the mustard greens got big. We didn't sell it all. They went to flour, they went to seed. So we have volunteers. Which are super huge, and it's super spicy. So if you like really spicy, that's your green.
Cool.
But you can kind of see in between here, we did a late season planting of summer squash, and amazing. Some of the leaves got hit by the frost, which ground up and died, but they're still producing. This is not normal for summer squash to be around this long. We've had a really mild October.
There's a whole bunch of it.
Right? There's so many. It's crazy. So it's very exciting. It's like, you know, what's in the weeds? What lurks in the weeds? Broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage, those three rows that we just passed by, like the cold weather. They're mature enough to handle a frost. A freeze is another story, but they're okay in the frost. We have beets, and beets grow where? Underground, right? So they're protected as long as the ground doesn't freeze. Beets and carrots are good. They actually sweeten up in the frost, and the same goes with kale.
How long do they keep growing?
They'll keep growing as long as, you know, we can dig them out. And we, like I said, if we don't get that freeze, which is usually when we go into the teens and it actually ices the whole plant, then it's gone. But and then if the ground freezes for carrots, we just let them overwinter until you can thaw them out and break them out in the spring. Yeah. So we're field growers. We don't do a lot in the greenhouse. There's all kinds of growers, but we are basically field growers. So.
Got it.
See?
We're harvesting kale.
Like a little bouquet. I know, right?
It's enormous. How's your fluffy ginormous kale, Miss Allie?
It's amazing. I'm so excited to cook it up.
What are you gonna do with it?
Might make kale chips, might put it in a salad, might saute it a bit.
Little miso dressing.
Here's my little beet. Want it too deep in there. Yeah. Ooh, little beet. Cheers, cheers to beets.
There it is.
Okay, so this little guy is a root vegetable that lives underground and we just pulled it out. And that's a red beet for you. With the beet greens. We are exploring some of the garden beds here at Sport Hill Farm. We found a bunch of weeds, but then hidden between the weeds are something called escarole, which is a leaf you could eat, and apparently it's very bitter.
Should I try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
You know, it's not my favorite yet, but it's always good to try new things.
Cool, thank you, Miss Megan. And over here, I think I see a carrot. You can tell that these are carrot tops. And we might know that carrots live underground. So let's see what this carrot looks like. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Would you ever know by seeing these tops that this beautiful carrot would be underground? Look how long it is. It smells like a carrot. And so you can eat this carrot once you rinse it off. You can chop it up, put it in soups, put it in stews, and you can also eat the tops. So these are carrot tops that you can turn into pesto or use in different sauces, and it has great flavor. So it's good to use the plant and eat the root and the leaves, and sometimes you can eat the stems and the flowers. I'm gonna bury that back underground for someone else to find. So these right here are ground cherries, and when they get ripe, they're gonna drop down to the ground, and when you open them up, you're gonna find a little yellow cherry. I don't know if this one is ready yet, but let's see. Oh yeah, so it's not quite ready, but when you open them, you're gonna get little cherries like this one. Take all this off. See? And that's supposed to be yellow when it's ready. And they're actually part of the tomato family, which is why they look a little bit like tomatillos. Cool, right?
All right, so this whole bed here is full of sunflowers, and in the summer they were big and bright and yellow and beautiful, but even though they're less bright and beautiful now, they're still cool to look at. All of the seeds are drying out in the heads of all of the flowers, and the birds have been visiting them and eating all of the seeds. So even though they don't look as pretty, they're like natural bird feeders now, and I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, we have a beautiful orange pumpkin here that would be great for a decoration or pumpkin carving, but there's a hole in it. You can see that this hole was made by maybe a little squirrel or a chipmunk or some bugs that love to eat the inside of pumpkins, and this pumpkin is going to start to break down and decompose, and make really healthy soil. So even if it's not perfect for a jack-o'-lantern, it's great that animals are eating it and getting good nutrients from it, and then it's gonna feed our planet.
Found some herbs over here. They're a little bit turning brown and almost done for the season, but this one here is thyme. Not thyme like time to check my watch, but thyme spelled T-H-Y-M-E. And it smells very good. It's used in a lot of cooking. This here is called lemon balm. And it smells just like lemons. It smells really good. I wish you could smell this. And then over here, we've got another herb called sage. And sage, one of the things I like about sage is it has a really cool texture and it feels really cool to touch. And it also smells very nice.
So right here we have parsley, which is an herb that kind of looks like cilantro, but it's really great for all types of seasoning in fish, soups, salads, anything you want really. It's really good.
Wow, look at this giant leaf. Could you guess what plant this is? This is a rhubarb plant. You might have had rhubarb in pie, like strawberry rhubarb pie. This is what it looks like. It's the stem of the plant, and it's really sweet and sometimes sour and delicious in pies and jams.
All right, so flowers, like these beautiful orange flowers right here, are just like people in that they also need food. But flowers can't eat hamburgers or spaghetti. They need a special type of food called pollen. And they make the pollen themselves, but they can't always get it to where it needs to go all by themselves. It's like if, pretend you have a hamburger on your head, but you have no arms. How would you get the hamburger from your head into your mouth? You might need to get a friend to help you. Well, there are all sorts of friends who live in the garden who help the flowers get the pollen from where it is now to where it needs to go. And I bet you can think of who some of those helpers might be. Helpers like maybe these bumblebees right here. These bees are called pollinators, and they're called pollinators because they, when they visit the flowers to get the nectar that they need to take back to their hives to make honey, some of the pollen on the flowers rubs off on them. And when they visit a new flower, they take that pollen with them, and then we say that flower has been pollinated. And a flower that's been pollinated can grow and make seeds and make some of the juicy and yummy fruits that we like to eat.
Okay, we have nasturtium plants here, and hidden behind these cool looking leaves are some beautiful red and orange flowers. And you might not know this, but these are actually edible flowers. So I'm gonna try one right now. A little spicy, a little tingly. That would be great on a salad or just to snack on. Who knew we could snack on flowers? How cool. Not all flowers though.
So these are pea plants. Pea plants are really easy to grow. I don't see any peas growing yet on these plants. They were probably just planted recently, but one of the nice things about peas is that they can deal with the cold weather. One cool thing about pea plants is see all these little curly tendrils coming off of them? If there were a fence or a pole next to these plants would wrap their little tendrils around the pole and they would climb their way up to get closer to the sun. Now, one of my favorite things about pea plants is that even when there are no peas growing on them yet, you can actually just eat the stem, the tendrils, the leaves, and everything, and they're really yummy.
Thank you, Farmer Patty Pop, for showing us around Sport Hill Farm and allowing us to explore and discover what is growing in Connecticut in late October. We had an amazing time seeing, smelling, feeling, and tasting the things growing on this farm. I hope you enjoyed watching. Comment below what you learned from this virtual farm tour.